Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is loadout, and this is a brand new series that I'm going to be doing, teaching you guys how to use the Battlefield 4 jets. I want to go starting from scratch, as if you don't know anything about the jet system in Battlefield 4, because it is huge and there's a lot to it. They have a variety of jets. I want to go through that, build you up how to actually fly the jets, as well as tips on mechanics, dodging your tail, staying on enemy jets' tails, improving your aiming, your accuracy, and making you a better dogfighter and a better threat in the skies. If you guys are interested in the series, be sure to let me know with the like. This is something that I actually did back in Battlefield 3 that was tremendous. I saw so many great comments of people giving their own tips, the people who are more veteran fighters, and then people who were, newer, really trying to learn, people actually answering their questions. This is a great series, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I know everything was well received back then, so I'm hoping it still will be now. I'll probably repeat a couple of those things, and I've originally just been sending people kind of back to there, but I think it's time to start up a new one. The main reason I first got into Battlefield 3 was actually for the jets, as well as sniping, which I might do a separate series on that, but those are my two favorite aspects of this game. I remember back in the beginning of Xbox Live, there was a dogfighting game, I believe called Crimson Skies, one of my absolute all-time favorites, and this just gives me great nostalgia for it. It's a lot of fun going with the dogfights, and the air superiority, especially when they have full servers out that you can customize, is definitely going to be one of my favorite places to hang out. So, without further ado, let's start the video up and enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, the first thing you got to talk about when you're talking about jets is where do you find them and how do you get in them? So let's start with where do you find them first. For Conquest, which is the main game mode you're going to want to play, both Conquest and Conquest Large, Large obviously being the 64-player servers and Conquest being the 32. These are the maps that you can actually play it on, all of them being great for it. Gulf of Oman, all of those being checked are the ones that have it enabled on them, the jets. Gulf of Oman is a bring back from the previous Battlefields, but in Battlefield 3 it was an excellent map. In this one, I gotta say, because of the sandstorm that they implemented with the Levolution, it's extremely hard to see, so you might not like that one too much. Try it out for yourself. It helps the stealth jets out for sure, but it is somewhat annoying going through it. We also have Dawnbreaker. I left that one unchecked because the flying area that you have to use is so small that you have to keep turning around, and it is just very frustrating to fly jets on it. So I recommend avoiding that map. All the rest of these, excellent maps. Parcel Storm obviously being one of the best. It also does include Rush and Obliteration as well for jet gameplay. These are attack jets that are incorporated in that, and it's only one jet per team, whereas in Conquest you do have two, one attack and one stealth jet. And then of course Air Superiority, which has plenty of jets for everybody, as well as a map with helicopters in the current lineup before we get the full servers unlocked. Also, another tip, you guys can go over to the right and choose normal servers. This will allow you to get into third-person mode if you don't like staying only in first-person, which I'll talk about more later. So now that you've got your server browser set up, you can find a map pretty quickly, and I prefer to do the server browser method like that because you can choose maps that have a specific amount of people. You're not going to join ones that are empty or ones that are completely full, and then it makes it very difficult to actually fight to get the jet. Once you're in a lobby, I actually joined this one. It had 32 out of 64, so a little bit extra room. You can use the left stick to choose where to deploy. Right now, I don't have any teammates alive. And then once you're on the objective, though, generally it's going to be the US base, you can use the right stick to move over and select. And a pretty cool tip to see kind of where your friendly guys are with the jet is if you scroll over it. So right now I'm over the F-35, the stealth jet. If you push the start button, it'll actually show you what's happening. So right now, whoever was in that is dead. As you can see, smoke's coming up. So this is going to spawn soon. The F-35 has about a minute spawn. The Warthog, which is actually the attack jet, has a little bit longer spawn. It's about a minute 15. And you can do the same thing with that push start, so that's down as well. To give you an example of one that's already up, you can look at this Venom, push start, and it'll give you the first person point of view of that player with any vehicle at all. So that's a quick tip on, where it is if you want to see if they're deployed, things like that, instead of just looking to see the dot flying around on the map and trying to hope for it that way. So those two should be spawning up soon, but that's the only way to actually get in a jet, is to wait and fight for it, unfortunately. So what we're gonna do now is actually head back to the main menu, go to multiplayer, and test range. This is a place that you can go to test out vehicles, weapons, even the specialty weapons you can pick up, practice aiming against targets, driving the vehicles. And what I want to do actually now is talk about the difference between the two jets. So if you go into, any game mode, push X is to let you customize your character. Pull the right trigger, this will take you over to the vehicles. Then you can use the right and left bumper, actually go over and select the stealth jet, and a couple more over is the attack jet. Now, looking at this, you might not really realize too many differences, but here's essentially what the differences are. Stealth jets are specialized against aerial vehicles. They're great against helicopters and especially other jets. They have the capacity to actually click in on the left stick, which will give you boost, or maneuver a little bit more quickly, make tighter turns, speed away. It's much more maneuverable. The attack jets are very strong against ground targets. That's mainly because of their secondary weapon. They also start out with 30mm rounds as their primary cannon. So, they're a little bit more specialized against ground targets, although they are powerful against air vehicles as well, especially helicopters, since they do move a bit slower. You can get shots on them pretty quickly to take them down and help give your players control over the battlefield. I personally started by specializing with the stealth jets. That is kind of the more familiar feel that I had from the past Battlefield 3, since I spent most of my time in Conquest, and in Battlefield 3 they gave you 2 stealth jets, no attack jets in Conquest. Now they give you the one, which is what you use in Obliteration and Rush, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. So if I'm starting out, if I'm you, I would probably recommend using the stealth jets as well, especially if you have air superiority, if you have the Battlefield 3 or 4 Premium. That lets you go into air superiority, where it is a lot of fun going up against so many jets, especially with, so many on your team and so many enemies to kill, as well as non-stop, really fast-paced, and you can level up a lot faster with it. If you're going to use the attack jets, it's a bit more of a grind, and it's also, everybody's kind of fighting to get into those jets. Now, as you can tell how I've been talking, these 2 jets have a separate level up path, so you need to level them up separately to get their unlocks and then get the extra abilities, including better secondaries, countermeasures, as well as upgrades for the jets. And that kind of concludes the basics, I think, for the jets. How to get in them, how to find them, how to change the settings, what are they, what's the differences between them, etc, etc. That's kind of what I wanted to go over. Next video, I'm going to talk about the veteran controls, which is something that I actually use and definitely advise you to as well. Just in the options, I'll go into a lot of detail on that, as well as how to control the jet, how to think about it when you're doing the turns, and kind of getting more advanced as each episode goes by. Hopefully we'll make this, 5-6 part series. I would love to get your guys' feedback, like I mentioned in the comments below. If you are a more veteran player, maybe you got a 1 or 2 tips out of this, but I would love to hear some feedback. What do you think I could, what more advanced tips could I give in future episodes when we start getting deeper? And then for the beginners, let me know if this helped you out. This should be very inclusive for everybody. Be sure to subscribe if you are new, drop a like on the video, and also if you guys are one of those console players, you can actually follow me on the Xbox One, my gamer tag, StoneMountain64. Love to play with you guys. I always play with subscribers, posting out on Facebook and Twitter as well. If you want to check out the next episode though, link will be in the description as always and annotated on screen. Thanks so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This is StoneMountain64, signing out. Objective Charlie has been neutralized.